Welcome to the Through These Gates podcast, the most rational Nebraska football show on the internet. I am your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore. We're back again, doing a game-by-game prediction. Day by day, we get more and more impatient, but the good news is we're almost there. A couple things. Last time, so I know there were some issues with the breathing on the mic the last time we did this. Full disclosure, this is the first time I have used this software to record raw with this type of microphone that's this powerful. So I listened to it and it was too late. It was like I already liked the content that was out. I needed to get it out because it was kind of a time sensitive thing. And then next thing you know, I mean, it sounds like I'm having an asthma attack on the recording. So hopefully we've gotten that fixed. I've made a couple adjustments, so hopefully won't be an issue going forward. With that said, I appreciate all the support being a brand new channel and everything. We didn't have any type of base to build on. I just kind of did it from scratch. I wanted to start completely over, and it worked really well by all accounts. So I really appreciate the positive reception. But without further ado, I kind of just want to get right into it. So let's go. First game, obviously, coming up this Saturday at Northwestern in Dublin, Ireland. Northwestern. This is going to be an interesting one because this is a team that's kind of got an axe to grind after we blew them away last year. So they return their starting quarterback, Ryan Hilinski, which, I mean, depending on how you look at it, that could be a good or a bad thing. But this, I don't want to go into this too deep because we are going to do a preview of it Friday. So without getting too far into the weeds of it, I'm going to go ahead and call this one Nebraska 38-17. I think we cover the spread easily. I think we go out there, we impress. I think we are going to show, just a little bit of maybe some rust and look like a group of guys that have only played together for a couple months. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to handle this team. We return enough starters. We've got enough talent, and we overmatch Northwestern. So I really do think we go out there, we cover the spread, but we don't win 70-0. Right after that, we return home for week 1. We face North Dakota again. Another game you really don't want to get too far into the weeds on because, guys, if we lose this game, the season's pretty much over. I could write off a loss to Northwestern and say all is not lost, but if they drop a game to North Dakota at home in week 1, maybe you can go fishing on Saturdays. I'm going to say Nebraska wins this one easily. 52-24, and they only get 24 because the backups come in and you got, third and fourth stringers that come in and give up a couple touchdowns. Right after that, another home game that should be an easy win. This one's a little bit more interesting, though, because Georgia Southern, our opponent in this game here in Lincoln, is going to tout former Buffalo quarterback Kyle Van Treese. Speaking of quarterbacks with axes to grind, we more or less kind of humiliated them too. So with that said, I still think Nebraska wins this one pretty easily. I'm going to go Nebraska 45-10. Next, it's the big one. It's the one everybody's looking at. We all had it circled with a big old red pen before the season started. Oklahoma returns to Lincoln for the first time since I think I was in junior high school. Everyone's excited about this one, and they should be, because guess what? Oklahoma is beatable this year. You lost Caleb Williams. You lost your coach, Lincoln Riley. I mean, they've got turmoil in the locker room with the whole Venables situation and the coach supposedly making racist comments. God knows what actually went on there. I mean, who was taking the fall for the head guy? We may never know. Plus, you get him in Lincoln this year. I mean, it's the perfect setup for a massive upset. It really is. And you know what? If I didn't expect them to right the ship this year, I would say it was the perfect setup for them to let us down again. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Nebraska takes advantage of an Oklahoma team with maybe a little turmoil and pulls it away by a Timmy Bleekrode field goal at the end, 27-24 Nebraska. And speaking of letdowns, Indiana was the all letdown team last year. We get them at home, though. Some new, fresh faces. Maybe they can turn things around, but with that said, I'm going to go with Nebraska to avoid the emotional hangover game and squeak one by against Indiana 35-28, which then takes us to Rutgers. On the road, first real road game of the season. You saw Northwestern in Dublin, but that's not really a home field advantage. Regardless, I think Nebraska should handle this one pretty easily. I'm going to go Nebraska 42-28. Whether it's Vedral or whoever starting at quarterback, I just don't see Rutgers having the talent to beat Nebraska, even on a down year. So Nebraska goes, they win. Maybe it's a little closer than it should because of the home field advantage, but they still win pretty easily. Game's not as close as the score. Right after that, we go on the road to Purdue, and this is the trap game. I think this is the one that gets us. Jeff Brom, for whatever reason, has it out for Nebraska. More specifically, Scott Frost. That guy and PJ Fleck have got our number. You've got Aiden O'Connell returning at quarterback, who, maybe he's not going to set the world on fire and win the Heisman, but again, the guy has found our Achilles tendon. Nebraska's going to go in 6-0 on the road to a tough opponent with no bye weeks, even playing a week 0 game. I just think this is the perfect storm for Purdue to maybe not crush, but slow some of that momentum. I'm going to take the Boilermakers by a late game field goal, 31-28. Next, we get Illinois back in Lincoln after a bye week, and if you don't think this is a revenge game, well, boy, I got some beachfront property to sell you in Omaha, and it ain't Carter Lake. But, I think everything aside, Nebraska's going to have this is going to be one of those games we have circled. I see Nebraska going in and just kind of beating the brakes off Illinois to start the game. I'm going to go Nebraska 41-21 here. I think the revenge game for kind of spoiling the season last year, Frost is going to have it out for Illinois. Illinois, I think, is going to be one of those teams that kind of scares somebody, but I don't think it's going to be Nebraska this year. After that, we got Minnesota in Lincoln. And listen, again, PJ Fleck, we talked about kryptonite. I know they're bringing back Tanner Morgan. I know they're bringing back their leading rusher, Muhammad Ibrahim, from last year. I get it. I understand that this team, on paper, and by anything that makes any rational sense, should beat us again. But they're not going to. I think, again, this is Scott Frost's revenge tour. He's got a lot to prove this year. I really see Nebraska coming, winning by one score, if you count the 2-point conversion, 35-27. I think Casey Thompson and co get it together against Minnesota's defense. That brings us to a tough one. Michigan in the big house. Look, I'm going to spare you the gory details. We're not going to get humiliated, but I don't think it's going to be a one-score game like it was in Lincoln last year. It's just really hard to see that coming. I think Michigan's going to be a really good team. I think they got a lot of NFL talent this year. They're returning. They lost Aiden Hutchinson and some guys, but still, I think that Harbaugh's going to get the guys together. They're going to be a fringe playoff contender at this point. I think Michigan beats Nebraska 41-27. Again, not a humiliating loss, but not exactly a nail biter. So after that, Wisconsin at home, I think we're going to drop 2 in a row. I really do. I think it's going to be a disappointing end. It's a tough schedule. Murder's row with Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Back to back to back to back. And I just think it's going to be hard. I think this team's going to have to overcome a lot of adversity. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to lose 27-34. That's the prediction I'm going for Wisconsin at home, which brings us to the final game of the season. And I think this one will be poetic justice. I think after watching special teams cost us the game against Iowa on Black Friday last year, I think we win off a Bleak Road field goal, 34-31. I think this is the year we beat Iowa at Iowa. I can just feel it, man. I hope I'm right. But so that would leave us at 9-3 for the year. I think 9-3 is very respectable. I think 10-2, even 11-1 is very easily attainable. We can beat Purdue. We can beat Wisconsin. Those are going to be close games. I also think we're going to know by week 0 with the Northwestern game how well this team's going to do. Because, again, while 9-3 is my prediction, and I feel that's a very reasonable prediction, 8-4, 9-3, it's also possible this is a 5-7 team. And if this team goes 5-7, even if they get a pity bowl, I don't see Frost keeping his job. I don't see that coming. 9-3 is probably the middle of the road, reasonable, moderate take, I'd say. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. I'm not chugging it yet. Not yet. Okay, not yet. With that said, this has been the Through These Gates podcast. I'll try to get one more out before we do the pregame prediction with Northwestern, maybe like some over-under type stuff. Make sure we're going to get a Facebook page going for this soon. Video hopefully soon as well. I am joining the Outlaw Streamers Network. I'll have a podcast coming out with an announcement on that soon. Make sure you check them out. Go give them a follow on Facebook, Rumble, wherever they're at. Be sure to give me a follow on social media at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel here. Turn the notifications on. Share it around if you like it. Comment. Let me know what you think. I'm going to start reacting to some of these comments when we get more. I appreciate the positive reception we've had and, the patience with the whole microphone issue. It definitely, it hasn't gone unnoticed. You guys are awesome. So we're building this from scratch. We have no base to build it on, nothing. I'm not pimping it out to all my other shows or anything. I just want to see what we can do with this generically. It's kind of a little fun experiment for me. Thank you guys so much. Again, be sure to like and subscribe. Turn the notifications on. I appreciate the positive reception we've had so far, and I'll see you guys next time. My name's Caleb Salvatore. Thank you so much.